Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another review for The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, episode 4. This is a full spoiler discussion. I have a full panel this time. It's not just me and Bizzy, but it's
Yeah.
me, Bizzy, Ronin, Ant Gold, and you can't see him, but that's Eris from Three Black Geeks. What's going on, guys?
You're.
So
Hey.
shit was good.
Oh yeah, bro.
So the funny thing about Ronin with this, like Ronin just watched for the most part episode 3, and I kind of wanted to get his emotions towards it because Ronin, you don't have a point of reference. Like you only know characters by name, by reference from pop culture, but you don't. This is the first one you've actually consistently watched. So for you, really quick, what were some of the things that was like it hits you home as far as this episode, Ronin?
I think just the fact that it was, you could see it as a self-contained story about just a couple, and yet it just all happens to be part of this show that's part of this big universe and whatnot. Um, I was never bored. I was intrigued. I was waiting to see what each character's line was going to be the next, and the best thing you could see is if you're lucky to capture the reaction is that at a certain point I cried a little. Like it got me at a point. I was just like, oh God. And again, as someone who's from the outskirts is known about this show and whatnot, it's that to shock me. That I'm like, wow, this episode got me emotionally, and yet I vaguely know stuff. And yeah, that's a testament to the writing. Which if it all confirms what I noticed in the beginning, Denai Guerrero did a hell of a job with the writing, and anybody else who helped out in that department. And Andrew with Rick, I mean, that is again seeing reactions of past seasons. I haven't seen him that vulnerable and that open in a long time.
Yeah.
And also testament to Denai as someone being an individual, a wife, and a mother. Woo! No fucks are given in the apocalypse. All right, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna tell you, let you know how it is. And yeah, man, they did some desperado shit there. Which if people watch the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about, and you'll know when you see the episode.
Ronan, we thank you for that. But yeah, let's go ahead and kind of break down this episode. So the beginning of this episode started from where we left off. That Michonne basically was like, "Screw it, I'm gonna just drag your tail out of the, and we're just going for it. Like, I don't know if we're gonna die. I don't know if there's rocks in below. We just like, I'm gonna drag you out. You talking about hit me on top of the head, put me on a boat? Bet I'm gonna take you out of the helicopter." So they land, and it's weird the way they shoot it because you don't really know whether or not this is a dream, like if they're in a situation, and they just happen to get upon like some land, and they end up in this apartment that is pretty well off. Like it's got technology, it's got running water, it's got electronics, and they're having to face the decision that they both made in their actions. And I was just curious from y'all's all perspective, did y'all think that this was actually a dream? Did y'all think that this was real? What was your first impression when they got to the hotel or slash apartment?
I thought it was real, but I didn't know how long it was gonna last. I mean, it's clear that Rick had a lot of crap going on, so like I truly expected him to press that button, like 1,000 times throughout this episode. So it was just a matter of I didn't really think it was a dream. Not many times. I mean, you guys kept mentioning it, and then part of me was like, "Crap, they might be onto something," but I wasn't really biting at it too much. But yeah. I mean, I was just anxious going into this because I didn't know how long them being alone was actually going to go for, and that's I guess the most thing that really kind of like had me going, if anything.
Yeah. Ant or Eris, what about you?
I didn't. I didn't think it was a dream. I was just kind of like, all right, like, I think I'm used to Michonne before, so I stopped watching the main Walking Dead soon after Carl died, and then I saw when Rick blew up the bridge. So I was used to Michonne as more of a stoic, strong, silent type character. I mean, she had lines in there, but like she was more so like I said, the stoic character,
Mhm.
the Clint Eastwood of the show in a way, you know. So seeing her there and have this much range of emotion, and we've all been in these kind of fights where like she's saying everything, and the more one person's getting more elevated, the other person's less saying. So when she was going in on him, we were just waiting. But it started off with her changing and Rick reconsidering his whole life plan. Yeah, so I like that. I like the intimate moments of these two characters in this moment. And you said she wrote this episode?
Yeah, she wrote this.
Yeah. So I'm glad it was able. I think at this point, when you're a decade in with some characters, not only do you know the other characters, you know your character in a way that writers coming on like will never know. And this gave me a lot of Firefly, Buffy, Angel type stuff where you could tell the cast members knew the characters and they were giving so much into these characters because they grew with these characters. So so yeah, I love it. And then I mean, you know, then they put on the show.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Right.
We'll get to that. Eris, what was your thoughts on the opening of this? Like, did you think that this was real?
I thought it was like, well, honestly, I thought it was weird how they just shot that. It was like, oh, they leap out. Okay, you know, I hope
Yeah.
they don't do the other thing that Walking Dead always made me angry, where it's like, oh, here's a cliffhanger mid-season finale. See you in 6 months. You know, that sort of thing, because you know, Walking Dead is infamous for doing that. But no, it shows you that, oh, next shot, here they are in this luxury hotel that kept its upkeep for years, and
A decade.
I you know, like for basically a whole decade. I thought that was cool. I'm glad that I was proven wrong again, that this wasn't a dream. So there was that.
Mhm.
I love the fact that Denai wrote this. This was like a pure dramatic piece of an episode, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so moving from that point, you know, they do the opening titles, which it was a dope. Like some of the shots in this were actually really good. The fact that primarily this was shot in that little like hotel / apartment complex, I think they did a really good job of keeping it feel like we're in a different space, but at the same time, they used some really good imagery. Like I think the thunderstorm, like rallying behind their emotions, was really well done. And then like the metaphor of like we're broken, quote unquote, and the literal reinforcements of the apartment complex are breaking as we speak. I thought it made so much more urgency. But I think that the next transition scene is like Michonne played a different card. Like she immediately was like, I'm gonna take this gear off. I don't want none of this trash. And she just basically stripped down to nothing but her drawers. And like Rick was like lost in the sauce.
Like he was drooling. You said like
It's like Chevy Chase and National Lampoon. It's like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
maybe I can just get a little wait, broken. I mean, we was just a little fraction. Come in, let me talk to you,
Rick was like,
no, stay strong.
No, Rick was like, okay, I thought I was a broken iPhone screen, but I think I'm okay. It's just the Gorilla Glass. We can take that off. We can replace it. We good.
And she did look back like she knew what she was doing. You knew what
she
she
knew
was doing.
Well what she was doing. She used that.
You had to give him a little reminder, bro.
Nah, I think she was like, yeah, you ain't touching none of this. Like,
dude.
She was looking at him like, yeah, don't even think about it. And then like she kind of pressed up on him with nothing but a shirt, and like she looked at him, and he looked like he was motioning to push the button. And so then it sparks this conversation of like, we need to go back versus we can leave. Rick goes with all these different situations where like if they don't do something, like they're gonna come, they're gonna find them, and everything's gonna roll down. She's like, no, let's take our chances, let's leave. He was like, no, we need to push the button.
She had to pull out like her last resort.
Yeah.
In order to kind of like snap him to even listen to her a little bit. Yeah. As soon as she said we need to go back to our children, bro, the look in his face, because it's like we've been waiting for that kind of like reveal for a while. And obviously she didn't do it right away, and it kind of happened so quick. I kind of didn't realize it happened until I'm just like, wait.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
thing about that, it slipped out. She didn't intentionally. She was mad at him, and I think that she said our kids, and because she immediately regretted it. She didn't want to use that as a last resort, I think. And as soon as it happened, she was like, "Well, okay, it's out there now." You know, like when you get in an argument with somebody and you say something you know for a fact you didn't mean to say it, but then you're just like, "Screw it, let's just keep it going."
See,
Like it's
I'd
out there
agree with
now.
that, except Michonne is a lawyer. Like she used to be a lawyer in the old life.
Yeah, I didn't take it like it was a mistake, honestly.
Like I think
I
she
I
waited
think
for
it was-
dramatic impact because she said children and then she said them again. You know what I mean? So it wasn't just one slip, and she let it ruminate for a while, and she hit him again.
Yeah, and the way she looked at him, she continued the eye contact.
She's like,
She
yeah,
didn't look away like
he's like,
fuck.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
she
You ain't
was
expect
like,
that, did you? You
she's
ain't
like,
expect
yeah,
that, did you? Mhm.
children.
so when she looked
I hit
like
you with the booty and the kids. What you got next?
So I think initially her head went like I can't believe you're this because she with her eyes, and that's why I say like they're really good actors because with her eyes she looked and rolled back and she's like, crap, like he's not even going to comprehend what I'm really saying. And if she hadn't did that eye movement, I would have thought that. But even at that moment, like he was like, I have a son, and they kind of had their back and forth about it, and he shook up. But even after all that, he's like, no. And then they do their transition. He's like, no, I'm going back. And like I was curious y'all's perspective in the moment that he said, I'm going back. What did you guys think was the reason and the rationale? Because I have my own opinions about it. But before we kind of get to the end of the episode, when he reconciles why he really wanted to be back, what did you guys think initially was his pivot? Why was he drawn back?
I got one.
Go for it.
This was mine. I believe he wanted to go back because he really believed in what's his name's what's his name's idea of like he really believed that like, well, it's up to me. I thought it was gonna be me and freaking what's her face? Thorn. But seeing how Thorn is like 100% gung ho on the idea of really serving the CRM, it's like it's really now up to me to do this, and I don't know if I can like really pull it off. But I tell you what, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best because I'm not leaving nothing to chance. You know, if Jadis finds out I'm not there, she already knows to go to Alexandria to kill everyone there, and it's really just that. Like, I'm not leaving anything to chance. So I think that's what it was. He wanted to find a way to take down the CRM from the inside before going home.
So
Because remember what I said, long game. He really had it in the pocket to stay in that long game.
So I think at first, I agreed with that, but like, because at first it seems like Michonne is just being, like Michonne is pure will. Like we're gonna do this and da da da. And Rick is looking at the whole. You don't know the whole might they can bring against us and things like that. And throughout the episode where she kept saying, "You're lying, you're lying, you're lying to yourself, you're lying to me," I was like, "Oh, there has to be something else there."
Right.
I didn't expect it to be what it was because what I was dreading was that Rick could actually gas some people, or he was in the helicopter that gassed them, because there's a big chunk of time we don't know what happened. Yeah. And Rick could have convinced himself, or to get to the higher road, he had to do one of these other raids or something. So that's where I thought that was going. Like, you don't know what I've done, and I can't go back home because I'm no longer the guy. I'm not that brave man anymore. I caved and I did this terrible thing. Yeah. Because we've seen Rick in many different modes. We've seen confident Rick. We've seen like good guy Rick. We've seen like dictator Rick. But we also seen like when the world gets to Rick and Rick adapts to the world that he's in different sections and different time periods of the show. Rick could go to some extremes, Yeah. So I almost was half expecting that he had done something that he thought he didn't deserve to go home again. I didn't expect what got me, because what the reason he gave got me, but
that's
what I thought.
Yeah, that messed me up too. Bizzy. What about you? What did you initially think was tethering him to stay?
So that's the thing. Like my head was hurting for a while because I truly thought it was because I think me and you mentioned this. I talked to you about this. I think in the first episode,
Mhm.
they have entirely like different ways that they react to things. Michonne has gone through a lot and she knows that. So she has the idea where it's like, if she can grab on to something good, she's gonna grab onto it. It doesn't matter who they have to go through or what they have to do. As long as they're together, they're fine. Whereas Rick is willing to sacrifice everything, sacrifice himself, as long as he's able to know that these people are safe.
Mhm.
And for him to stay, I truly believed it was because he was making the decision to, well, to make sure they didn't go after them. But the more you started saying it and the more you kept bringing it up, I was like, okay, maybe he actually does believe in Okafor's mission. Maybe he's trying to actually save, and it did, it seemed like that was actually the case. And Michonne just kept talking to him and kind of like, like, do you even hear yourself? Like you just
Right.
are gonna do this off the little chance you could change it one day. It was just, I don't know. It was like my head was all over the place, and I truly don't even know at this point. I mean, I want to believe that they're gonna go back, but I feel like there's gonna be something that snaps in him. Even though like we're at the point where they're finally connected, they're finally how they were before the whole bridge incident. I just don't think this is gonna stick, and I'm so curious to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I have a deep comment on that, but I want to hear Ronan's. What did you think was the thing pivoting him?
I think it was two factors. It was what he later on revealed in the episode, and I feel it also goes back to his uh his code and all that stuff of like, okay, if there's a way to fix stuff and it seems possible and he's buying it, he's going to commit to that. The thing that's fascinating now, looking back at it, is that when I think it's fair to say now because we're talking about episode 4, when he put all those photos and the stuff in that bin to burn, that was him saying goodbye to life and fully committing. So that moment even now hits harder when I think about this episode, because how would you feel that, okay, everything you believed in and your way of living and trying to go forward is gone just by the sad, beautiful, and dangerous thing of time, and now the next day something from your past is hit right back at you in front of your face. What do? How does that do to your mindset? And again, outsider's perspective, I don't think Rick was more dangerous or as weak in the with that government or with Michonne. I think by the time you reach a moment of this episode, he's at his dangerous and weakest because you had already let this part of yourself go, and now it's back to you. What does that say about your moral code? What does that say about your way of living? And it's I completely understood by the time he said what he revealed of why he would go down that way and why he was so torn. I do think the fact that letting slipped out that like them the kids, I think that maybe gave an inching factor to him maybe going back home and whatnot. I think that played a significant part. And again, the beauty of this episode is also the pacing and the timing. Nothing felt too dragged. Nothing felt too rapidly filled. It was enough time to let the rubber band pull, and then snap at the right moment, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bought it and I felt it.
Yeah. Yeah. I personally feel like Rick has always been this way. Rick has always been adaptable. I think Anthony stated it. When there's a situation, it's like, oh, okay, let's go to this prison. Let's try to figure out how to clean sweep this prison to make it accommodable to see how we're gonna make it. Okay, we find this group in Alexandria. Let's see how we can refortify it and make it accommodable. Oh wow, there are other groups surrounding. Let's try to see if we can figure out how to make things better. Everything that Rick has done has been working towards this. This is just on a completely different scale.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that realistically, them talking about a 500-year plan, the general posing to Thorne about something that they still don't know what it is, and she haven't revealed it. I think a part of him, and I think even the general senses it as well. a part of him wants to get behind this because it is a possible future. I really do. I think that does play a factor in it. But I also sense that he has been broken and he has been thrust into this situation because of a lot of breaking. Like he's been broken, more so than even Negan did. I didn't realize that until this episode. And I think the climax of this episode revealing like his account to fear and how that switched and swayed his judgment, I thought it was amazing. And the thing about it, like Andrew Lincoln, he killed that. Like he killed that in a way that I did not anticipate feeling like I did. Like the fact that he and Ronin were kind of choked up.
No, I
And I was
teared.
like,
I teared. I ain't gonna lie.
I was like, I don't care, man. I'm a punk today. But I think it's all like you said, Ronin. It's account to their pacing. They took their time. But this is not an action-heavy episode. There was action in it, and you felt the action, but the meat and the bone of this was these conversations, these intimate moments underneath fire. Now we'll talk about them having sex while the building is collapsing and them having these conversations in the worst opportune moments. But at its core, I think that dynamic of understanding, for them both understanding each other's perspective in this, I think that's the core and the heart of this episode. It's the foundation to the whole entire series to me. If this didn't land, I think a lot of this is going to be really hard to gauge.
So I think I love shows that can have two characters in a room, right? Because it's the most cost effective, but it's also the most difficult thing to write, where you can write a whole episode and it's just two characters, like the Sunset Limited, or it's when you have two characters in a room and the dialogue is keeping you engaged. And I think in this, everything that's come out, if you are new, if you're just watching this for the first time, there's something there for you. But if you know all the history, there's something there for you too. And one thing you just said, Sam, maybe think about it. Rick really is supported by the people he's partnered with or leads, right? And one of the things about him losing Carl was his motivation and strength for the longest time.
Wow.
And there was times even when Rick was broken, the Carl was like, "Nah, Dad, we gotta do this." And I remember I was thinking about after they had sex, there was a time when, like, I guess Jesus came in and was stalking around the house, and Carl was just ready with that gun, like, "Who you?" And
I'm waiting for your mom and dad to finish up. I think that's when Carl finds out.
My bad, boy, my bad. We know how. But him losing, and even the memory we saw when Rick was going through the bridge episode, last one, the memory of these characters stays with them, and even on a subconscious level is motivating him to keep moving forward, keep getting people together, not giving up. So to have one of those stripped from him, like especially Carl, like like that got me, because they showed the scenes we all seen before, and then they just edited out Carl for a second.
Right.
And I feel that because I stopped watching the show after Carl died, because in my mind, Carl was the future. He was what we were going to go towards. So like it broke me. So that might have got me back into it. I might watch these other spinoffs now.
gotta love that digital airbrushing.
Right. Sorry, I know that was long, but that's just that.
No, I think that's really important, because I was gonna get to that, because I mean, we heard when Michonne was talking to the painter, like for some reason Rick couldn't describe Carl, like he was having difficulty, and I was kind of like, okay, like there's a certain way you draw Carl, like maybe he didn't want to draw him with the past, maybe he wanted to draw him from what he remembered as a kid, but this man literally could not remember his own son, and that. I ain't gonna think about too deep. That's
right,
rough.
That's rough. No, wait.
Plausible.
Sam,
Sam,
you know that's what kind of messed me up a little bit, because when you go back to season 9, episode 5, it really kind of makes me question this whole episode. Like, what did you do? Like, or better yet, what did they do to you? Because you went through a whole episode where we thought you was gonna be gone. And we got so many callbacks and references from previous characters. And the whole theme of that was I'm looking for my family. That whole episode, and the fact that he never did see them. He never saw Lori or Carl, and it's because he was not ready to accept death. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but this is.
That's what I want to know. Like, what did they do?
But it's been 8 years, Ayers. He's been stripped away from his family for years, to the point that every single time that he's making a sacrifice to try to escape, get out, try to escape, get out, try to escape, get out. And a part of your soul is disappearing because a part of you is thinking, I'm not going to make it out. And I don't know if they're even still alive. Because that would be the damning thing, to be honest with you. And I think that Michonne harped on it. She said, the truth be told, I don't know if Judah's okay. I've been gone for a year myself, just trying to look for you. And she was like, I don't know. I lost touch with our daughter. And I think a part of him really like subconsciously was trying to survive. And he was just losing it. It kind of reminds me of like Count of Monte Cristo a little bit. Like that's the best point of reference I can think of, where like you either one just lose it or you use fuel and anger. And when anger and fuel goes away, what do you have left? Like you just got those remaining memories.
There's also the theory.
This is why I say somebody needs to get a hook, toss it across to France, and pull Daryl back over to the East Coast. Rick needs his brother.
I'm surprised that was the first question he asked. How's Daryl? Because Daryl family. But he talked about I always mispronounce the name of it, but y'all know that Schrodinger's cat. That thing about the cat being alive and
Schrodinger's cat, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a thought thing where so you take a cat and a box, you put the box in the cat. From your perspective, this is shortening, but from your perspective, the cat's both alive and dead until you take off the box. So you could decide what it is because you don't know. So a lot of times we stay in that purgatory realm of people do this all the time with relationships or states in their life. So because if I go and actually get the answer, I have to live with it. So if I go to the doctor, I have to live with I'm sick. Or if I go and ask them, hey, what are we in this relationship? I'll get a definite answer. So a lot of times we like to stay. The safe spot for us is not knowing either way because we can pretend the one we want. So they had kind of mentioned that in there, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, with the whole Michonne thing. Like I thought like the way that he was talking about it was just so depressing, but it was so real. He's like, if I don't know anything happened to you, I could live with myself. Like just the idea that you could be out there being fine is enough for me, but like I can't take another loss. And again, Andrew Lincoln is such a brilliant actor. And you could feel that. You could really feel it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Good, man. You got because I know I'm saying it wrong. Because I know I'm saying it wrong. I think I'm saying it wrong too, yeah. Like was quick with his. He was like, is this it?
How the hell did you even spell it with the way we were pronouncing it?
Because I was butchering the word. So
yeah, so I'm like,
hey, look at it this. I can see from Rick's point of view. Better to be a mystery than to be wrong.
Schrodinger's cat. Oh, I did say it right. Okay. Not for real.
I'm saying it. Schrodinger's cat.
Man.
Yeah.
For real, bro.
That was funny. But
man, you want the quickness.
I mean, no, really think about that. Imagine you do successfully escape, but knowing that your escape brought on the depth of every major community that you're connected to, because you really think the CRM would stop at Alexandria? No, they would go to what remains of the hilltop. They would go to they'll go to possibly the Commonwealth, and they'll go to Oceanside. They'll go everywhere.
And the Commonwealth has an army, but it's not enough.
No, they need CRM. Shoot, I don't even think the Commonwealth even knows about the CRM.
No,
they got helicopters, man. What you gonna do?
Right. Armed helicopters, armed.
Hey, look, they got helicopters, but Commonwealth got a train.
You know what?
I don't know that reference, but I think
this is what happens. Hey, Bizzy. This is what happens. No, this is what happens when people don't watch the entire series.
Oh, I watched the series. It ended with me and Carl. So,
That's crazy.
so-
See, we
Nah,
earned this show.
And
Oh,
go out the door,
I'm
out the
going.
room, out the room. Because you done missed out on so much greatness. Then if you tell me, oh, I left after Carl, you sound just like the people who left after season 7, episode 1. Stop
This
it.
is a
We
whole
ain't
different
doing it.
video, bro.
wait a minute.
Don't blame me. Don't
Okay,
blame
I
me.
all
am.
right, moving on.
Dang.
Moving on.
What is
Moving
Sam?
on.
What is with
Moving
this?
on.
What
Moving
is
on.
with you? Hold up,
Moving
hold
on.
up.
That train your battle plan? That train your battle plan?
No. We're not breezing past this. We're not gonna breeze past quick draw Sam
Yo,
here.
Eugene is still alive? Mullet is still alive?
Yes.
I just
He
want
got,
to
a
say.
rat, he got a rat tail now.
I just want to say this.
Oh, good for him.
I understand Aris and Bizzy be like, we earned this. This is Phil. I get that.
Exactly.
I get that notion. But look at it. Like I just said, I got emotional
Yeah.
after this one
Thank you.
episode. So something is working with this series where even a newbie like me that like can vaguely know stuff still be connected and be like, Carl, and
Coral.
Carl, and it's like,
Yes.
okay, I get it. I'm in. Boom. But
Yeah.
I get it. It's a tenfold thing for the hardcore fans, and I appreciate that's a good act where you can still get the OG fans, and yet a schmuck my lead that was like from afar, be like, anger, okay,
Yeah, I mean,
cool. Oh, okay.
Well,
this thing
Ronin,
works for me.
Ronan, wait until you just start watching the whole series. And
Anyway,
so
even
much. No.
You can skip season 2.
I'm not trying. No, whatever, Ann. Ronan, when you watch the whole series, you'll understand the weight of everything that you just watched in this past episode.
Even if you don't, Ronan, you can still feel it. You'll be good.
But
I'm gonna
it'd
say
be
that. I'm gonna say
wiser.
that. Respectfully.
Respectfully, Ann, it'll be wiser to watch it. So
Yeah. So, but I felt like the people I used to watch the season with, like we used to have the watch parties and everything like that. I feel like
Yeah, I
texting
did
them,
too.
hey, y'all need to watch this new miniseries. I'll come back to it.
Hey, Ronan, do you
That's how it
recommend
felt.
people watch? Do you recommend people watch The Last of Us season 2 before they watch season 1?
That is completely
All
different.
right,
How
next
dare you? That is different. That is
How is it
different.
different?
I'm not gonna go into it. I'm not.
No. Okay, moving forward. This is why I'm about to start muting y'all in a second.
I see
I
exactly.
got 5
what
more
you're doing,
seconds.
and you know what? Thank you.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
No, Busy. You get
I'm
this
gonna
high
be
five.
saying.
You get this high five from me. I see exactly what you're doing.
All right, so moving forward, the next thing we got to kind of talk about, which is the heir apparent thing in this, is that Denai and Andrew are amazing.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Not just the fact that they have
Yeah.
amazing chemistry, but every emotion, like whether it's charisma, whether it's sadness, whether it's anger, whether it's like showing and making it feel like these are a threat, they emote so well. And I wanted to kind of give them their flowers and a clap because they brought so much into this that it made me understand how much I've missed them. I actually started going back and watching old clips of the seasons. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but I wanted you guys to kind of compliment or give you guys an opportunity to talk about one of your favorite scenes, because there's a lot of line dialogue. There's a lot of different circumstances in this episode, because there are certain moments where they were in an action-based situation where it's like Michonne's like, I don't really trust you anymore. I don't know who you are. And they're fighting mad. And then there are situations where like Michonne got caught in between the chandelier. And I was like, Rick is not going to let her die. He will run through all of these walkers before that happens. But it got really touch and go, like how he was going to get her out. And every single scene, even the small, subtle moments, they carried it beautifully. So I wanted you guys to talk about one of your favorite scenes and why you think that they carried this episode the way they did.
The thing is, I mean, they really felt like a married couple here, man. I really loved it. Like the arguments were so authentic. The way like they weren't just arguing, but Michonne was throwing out little shots at him while it was going on, and the shit she was saying was funny because it was true. She's like, and then even when they're escaping, man, we really see a kind of a change between the two later on, and it made me just again appreciate the show so much more. Because as they're leaving, we even have her saying, "Oh, like what we should stay here and come up with like a combat plan, like kind of like mocking him and his whole strategy thing. But then we see them kind of struggling to take out these walkers. They're killing the same walkers. They're not on the same page. And then later on, we see how synchronized they are, and it's just they did such a good job showing kind of that quick, on and off switch with how well they work together. Like they were one person when they were escaping later on, compared to how they were just so sloppy when they weren't on good terms. And it just, I mean, the way that they were portraying every single second of that argument was just, it was so real, man. It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah.
I see that, Bizzy. For me, I would say probably the best line was, "We needed a timeout." That was by far my favorite line of this whole of that whole little exchange. And my second favorite part of their interaction was, "Hey, Bizzy, did you like how this episode told Marvel or Netflix, hey, Daredevil, hold my sorghum?" And
the hallway fight.
The hallway fight.
Yeah, the hallway fight. I immediately thought that, but I'm like, I really need to kind of train my brain to go away from Daredevil anytime I see a hallway action scene. So I was like, you know what? This is going to be the first reaction where I don't mention the hallway fight. But you ended up bringing it up, so now
I was bringing it up. I did not care. I'm like, like, okay, yes, all right, AMC, I like it. I respect.
Yeah, in that scene, like I don't know what, like some kind of LED was kind of flashing while it was like a red hue in the background.
The alarm,
I was like, oh, y'all set that up perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, hold my sorghum.
And she looks so good. I mean, they are these characters. They are these characters. And everything she brought to the emotion. I think one thing I liked is that part, and you've seen it in different mediums before. People probably lived it before, where you just got to get over your own issues to come together. Like when she stopped in the hallway and he stopped at the door, the tension, you see it a million times, but you want them to open the door. You want her to turn back. Like,
yeah,
it was good. And them asking each other if they were okay, checking in with each other. She's just grown more powerful and beautiful. Like, this is a strong female character. Like that you hear about this. Michonne's been doing this for over a decade. like, and she just brings so much to it. And I'm glad she has such a voice now in the writing. I'm so happy about that, and I'm so happy for her and her career.
Yeah, I have to. Can I make a suggestion that like there's a moment, again, without giving too much context, with Rick, again at his most vulnerable. It harkened to me a moment in the Endgame with Clint as Ronin. He says, "Don't give me help." Like I felt that vibe with Rick in this episode, and I think we all chuckle. But I love there's a moment where they're all pissed at each other, and they attack the dead, and Rick gets to one first, and he's like, "I had that one." I'm like, "Oh, I believe this. I understand this. No one's getting physical with one another. Not that way yet. But this is how you do it. This is how you take out anger management and whatnot." Yeah, man. And I can't encore what you guys have been saying about Denai's work. And yeah, this sounds so weird. I'm glad I have range. I'm glad I have a type. I'm glad that I'm just like, phew, man, what the world can give. Like, I am glad. Hallelujah. Surrender me now. Like, yeah, thank you, Denai. This Latino has range.
Oh, snap.
I don't know what to say to that, but yes, I agree with every sentiment you just said. And I'm going to say this: I would have broke when she was getting undressed and came back with that shirt. I'd have broke right there. Like, baby, we go home. I don't even know what to. I had a plan. I don't know what that plan is. We need to go. We're there. Like,
Marvin Gaye starts kicking in the background.
Yeah, like she's like, how'd that go? And I don't know. I just yeah.
I think what we saw, like, if we could take a look inside Rick's mind, you see that how it started and how it's going.
All right, so
how it started, him burning all the letters and everything, how it's going. They gonna need to burn them sheets.
Look, he forgot almost everybody, not just his son in one of those moments. He was like, oh, wait, well, I'm not depressed again? That's that good. That's that good. When you forget what I'm saying.
I mean, again, I mean,
He slipped out of it for a second.
I do remember you. I do remember you. I remember you said it. Somebody in the chat said as we were watching. You do not say none of what you just said to a black woman. You don't do
not
that
at all. And she told him, did you forget who you was talking to? Of course I jumped you out that plane. You know, you're right. I kind of earned that one. She talked this episode more. She talked in all 4 episodes. Like all the other 3 episodes, she talked more this episode. And we all heard it. She ain't say nothing when she ain't say with her eyes. All these other episodes. That's fine. I knew that. Does that make sense?
This is the thing. That's a married couple. A married couple don't sit there and talk their stuff in public. They wait till they're home. When they're home, you're gonna get aired out. No matter what.
Well, in this case,
every bullet.
well, in this
Rick
case,
tried to like
preempt
it. Like, no.
Hey Sam, in this case, it wasn't no wait till we get home. That was wait till we get to this conveniently placed apartment here.
Oh my god!
I will drive this car off a cliff, but hers was coming out the way. I will jump us out this plane. You don't say we over. I say we over. Man.
Look outside the window. They're like, wait a minute. You weren't just doing a crazy stunt. You saved my life.
Right. So that was the segue.
So round 2?
So the segue was the moment that, you know, she was trying to make her point, and then he kind of looked and he was like, whoa, this is the helicopter. And then she said, oh, this is it. This is your perfect cover. This is your perfect cover. At this point now, they think we're dead. And he still, you know, was not able to reconcile why he felt like he still needed to go back. He just wanted her away. And then, of course, they had their dramatic back and forth. And it all, no pun intended, ended in a climax.
That pun was intended. That pun was intended.
Sam, it wasn't just one, it was several. Okay.
Anyway,
look, they got a lot of time to catch up on.
That is 8 years of action they have missed out on.
The climax, what I was talking about, was not them having.
She like, what that fist do?
Bizzy is uncomfortable right now. Y'all making Bizzy uncomfortable.
Bizzy, when a man and a woman love each other.
I appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
Hey, look, I only got one thing to say to that. Welcome to the real world, son.
That's not
terrible uncles and cousins of Bizzy.
The climax I'm talking about is when she walked out. When she walked out that door. And she was walking down the hallway, and like you said, Aunt, she kind of turned back, and she was. I think it was Bizzy. I think Bizzy was like, she was hoping that he was going to come through that door like that. Yeah. She gave him the ultimatum.
Man, she tried to
well, anybody that has a spouse or a partner, like when they're really upset and they have like an emotional moment, sometimes they want you to chase after them, and they can be even more broken when you don't. No matter what they said, no matter how heartbroken it could be, like they want you to want them back. And the fact is he didn't. And that, like, denying that scene, she killed it because she let all that emotion out, and then she walked down the stairs. And then even Andrew was so conflicted because he was so scared. We didn't know what the confliction was. We just knew that he was absolutely terrified to open that door one way or another. And then he walked out, and then he got closer to her, but we see the helicopter in the distance, and the helicopter starts freaking firing down on the building, and he gets to her just in time. And I don't know if did any of you guys think that he wasn't going to make it there in time?
Did anybody have a doubt?
I wasn't worried.
I knew he was going to. I knew he was going to make it. I would say this. Like, I would say, number one, I love the fact that she pulled that Tony Braxton unbreak my heart tack on Rick when she rolled out that door. Just saying. Second, I love that this is a mini series because real talk, we would have not seen that wreck chopper in the like in the other apartment building probably until the very end of the episode if this was a normal series.
Yeah.
No, it definitely would have took a lot more time.
They would have dragged that.
It would have been a 2-episode situation for sure. And you know, he got to her just in time, but like literally the building started to go down. Now, my only critique of this episode, and
That
you
was
guys,
the longest.
the building was cracking down. It was a different situation. They made it out. They got back to the apartment. Like she almost died several times. He almost died. And they make it back to the apartment and they get busy. No pun intended. Sorry, busy. And so they're sitting there having sex, and he's emotionally compromised, and she's telling him to let it go and whatnot.
She's like, I'll be gentle.
I mean,
Wakanda forever.
For me, no. For me, it's idiotic to have sex under those kind of conditions. I don't know. That was the thing that took me out. Because one, the building should have been gone by the time, I don't know how many rounds they went. And it was daytime by the time they got out. And that's
that was too much.
The only negative I had.
Another quickie, that's fine, but they went till morning. It was like, all right, we good. They changed.
It wasn't enough. I'll be honest. Listen, I know we all seen Dragon Ball. Son, you know the 5 minutes the Namek explodes. This is the zombie apocalypse equivalent. That was the longest 5 minutes. That is the strongest luxury apartment building ever. That thing withstood that whole attack from a chopper, and finally decided, now's a good time to crumble.
The building was like the building knew they needed that.
These rooms were talking to you.
They were.
And for 2010, like 2009 technology, like that's pretty impressive.
The fact that the fact that was still up and running
is impressive.
Right. Well, I mean, it was like some like innovators that were still pushing the envelope as far as technology, but still, like
these things was built for tough.
When she was writing this episode, she's like, "How do I get some clean sheets in the apocalypse?" All right, look, we're gonna be comfortable and clean during this sex scene.
And we had enough. And there was enough innovators to bring in a hybrid truck.
Right?
Y'all remember? Hold up. For everyone that still watched the show, do you remember in the first few seasons when Hyundai was one of the sponsors for Walking Dead? Every car outside of that Challenger, every car was a Hyundai.
Yeah. That's what I remember as a Challenger.
Which that's also enough. Which, by the way, I kept saying it when we were watching the show. That this episode alone was drawing a lot of nods to Breaking Bad, and the Roomba. Like the Roomba being one of them, and then when I mentioned the Challenger just now, that was also a Breaking Bad reference.
The last episode of The Walking Dead, they do Jesse Pinkman should be in the background somewhere, calling someone a bitch. Killing a zombie, like, yeah, take that, you bitch.
I'm like, how the hell did he survive?
What did you say, Ronin?
I can see also shades of I Am Legend as well. Once you get to the middle part, and when
Will
Smith realizes he's not alone, yeah.
Now I did think the ending was. I started to think that was a dream because that was like too much of a perfect ending. Like you got to a car.
I was halfway thinking Jadis was going to be right behind them with the freaking helicopter, and she could be because there's no way she can't afford for them to get away. Because at any moment it could be exposed what Jadis has done and knows, and so it's all about preservation for her. So she's gonna absolutely go after them.
How many episodes is this miniseries?
On 6, and we only got 2 more. We got 2 more to go.
Oh, some bad stuff gonna happen.
What I was also gonna mention was, you notice that even if they thought, oh, it's the perfect cover, like the chopper was in the apartment building, it crashed, everybody's obviously dead, and they showed up and blew it up and destroyed all evidence, but let Jadis find out, Grimes and the consignee, they ain't here. We about to take a trip to Alexandria, y'all, just in case.
Can I say also what costume does for storytelling? Like, there's a point when there's a switch of costume, and we all cheer. And we're like, all right, this signifies something familiar yet different. And I was just like, because I remember when Rick got his like combat costume, we're like, damn, John Wick over here and shit. And I love it when even costume can do something unique and motion.
Yeah, I mean, let's be realistic about like the way that this kind of ended with them reconciling what Rick's real fear and why he wanted to be back, and at the same exact time, her letting him know like I can't do this without you. Like I can't live without you, literally. And of course, them making it out and them just going to work on those walkers and they kind of getting out. Realistically, would the CRM really know that they were dead? Like through all that rubble and through everything, why would the CRM even have any inclination that they would even be alive or dead?
And they
Like,
shot a rocket at the copter. So like,
They shot a rocket at the copter,
Right.
but still, any possibility. Number one, if no one ever reported back to, well, not just anybody. If Rick wasn't back at base, automatically Jadis is either going to assume, okay, he ran back to Alexandria, therefore I'm gonna take a trip.
Yeah, she would be, but she would be the only one. I don't think that she would expose it right away until she was absolutely sure.
Of
I feel
course,
like it would make more sense for her to follow him herself than to bring down the army.
do we know why they're gassing people? Like, are they just trying to make more docile survivors, or like, are they gassing anybody that they can survive on their own or without being dependent? Like,
we'll find out we'll find out by episode 5.
Where are we talking about why they're just killing people? Like why they're killing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do we know that?
gassing. Oh, no. I don't think they really clarified that. No.
Well,
Okay,
like I said,
miss it. Sorry.
We're either going to find out by episode 5 or episode 6, which of course is going to lead into season 2. Because you really think this story is ending on episode 6? I don't think so.
So
I mean,
I'm already calling it. I'm already calling it. This is going to end with another. This will be more of a season finale and not a mini series finale.
Yeah,
I'm already calling.
Don't give me hope. Don't give me hope. All right.
No. I'm not giving out hope. I'm just stating facts.
All right, man.
Please, I love to be wrong, but right now I'm 2 for 2. I said it for Dead City. I said it for Dead City, and I said it for freaking Daryl.
Wait, they have a nuke in the Midwest in the series?
Yeah, they tend to just kind of like, they seem to kind of bring it up in Dead City, I think, because I think in Daryl Dixon, because one of the guys that ended up in France, he was American. He's like, I want to go back to my family in Texas, and Daryl's like, I've been to Texas, it's gone, it's all gone, none of it's there. And he's like, no, I don't believe you.
Yeah,
you won't know.
I think that I would believe that this would have rounded out if we got a hint, like maybe this episode or the last, what the general's trump card is, what it is that he divulged to Thorne, and what it is that she felt. Right, like what would it be?
Rick was about to find out too.
Right, that they wouldn't just put that there without that being essential. Because at the end of the day, I mean, they could easily have it be like, oh man, the war is coming to everybody. But I feel like it's the key is going to be whatever the general has on them. Do you guys think that Michonne and Rick are going to go back to the CRM? Or do you think they're going to make it back home? That's my question.
I don't think we're lucky enough to get the Alexandria thing until, if we ever get it, it would be the very last episode of the season. And even then, I don't know. I don't know. But I truly think on their way home, I'm glad it didn't happen in this episode because this is like the first time in like Walking Dead history we ended an episode on a good note. But I'm truly waiting for, I don't know if it's next episode, it starts off with something crazy happening, but they're going to get sent back. Like this isn't going to go the way we want it to go, unfortunately.
Yeah,
this definitely isn't going to go the way that you think it's going to go. You really think we're going to get 2 episodes of straight up happiness? No, like I said, either Jadis is gonna return. She don't even have to bring. Like this shot right here. This we didn't even get this yet, so we know that this is going to happen. I'm pretty sure this is going to be. I found you on the road.
Yeah. She's definitely going to force him because I feel like Rick might use the fact that she's known this whole time.
Yeah,
against her.
And
at the end of the day, that's still they don't fuck with secrets over at the CRM. They like to keep them. They don't like people keeping them from them.
Bro, this is not just a group. This is an army that is all about national security. They still act like national security is a thing in the zombie apocalypse, which is a cool, it's a cool angle, and I like it. But I need to see. Thank you, Sam. I need to see more of this guy. I need to see more of the general. Like, what is this man's like full battle plan? Because I've seen
We've got references with them, you know.
we've gotten references, but then we've also seen like generals and colonel characters, at least one or two throughout all the Walking Dead shows, and they either get pieced out, and we never really get to see their master plan, which always bugged me. So I really hope we get to see something, with this guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Anthony, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'm really surprised that they got away. So they got to get caught back up because we there's so many unanswered questions about what they're actually doing and what the master plan. I actually thought that also might be one of the reasons why Rick wanted to stay is because he didn't know what this was, but it had to be big to make so and so a believer. I don't think we're going to see Alexandria. I feel like I just have a hint. I don't know, but I don't think we'll see it until like it'll be them riding up to the gates, and then we'll just assume they meet everybody. Like maybe
that's best case scenario, honestly.
Yeah. Only hint I get that you might see Judith is because they keep time jumping like that year they got, and I think they got to catch up to wherever the actress is. So
I think the most that we'll do is honestly get like a voiceover with Rick finally being able to talk to RJ and Judith. And then, like, I think it will be an emotional moment like that, but that's the most I can see actually happening.
I hope we get because I kind of feel like they did the actor that played Carl kind of dirty. I hope we get him come back because just in a vision or a dream or something for Rick's closure in it. Nope, not happening. Okay.
No, not happening, Ant. See, where was it? Actually, he did come back, but got to watch season 11. Anyway,
or I can YouTube Carl's return.
You wouldn't know.
No, I'm joking.
Nah, it's very subtle, is what I'm saying. It's very, very subtle.
Oh.
Okay, probably one of the greatest fake outs ever. Sam, I don't know where you be finding. I don't know where you got that shot from. That was definitely one of my favorite fake outs. They made it look like Negan was going to kill Maggie.
Anywho, closing thoughts and rating on this episode. What is your rating from A to F? And closing thoughts on where we're going, and what were your thoughts on this episode as a whole?
I'll start it off. I'm giving this one a solid A. This was great. Dramatic. This was a great dramatic episode. I liked it. The dialogue, very dialogue heavy. Yep. Great. Just the breaking down.
Y'all need to calm down. Let me and Ronin.
Wait a minute. Let me get my review. Let me go.
You put that picture up. I put that. Don't put no picture in front of me. Then you don't know.
Like, Sam, take the picture down, please.
You don't have a freaking video. I can't.
So this is your fault. This is your fault. So keep talking to me, but I need you to change your voice a little bit and talk a little slower.
I'm good. I'm all right.
We want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, say it.
Well, put up a different picture. Jesus.
No.
Hey, put up the Schrodinger's cat thing again. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Anyway, I'm giving it an A.
Ants.
All right, next.
Ants, come on, man. So, again, I want to give it a B plus. I mean, at the end of the day, this was so necessary. I mean, this was top tier acting here, man. I mean, the way they were interacting this entire episode, the way they were arguing, the way that they kind of reconciled, if you will, just the way that they connected again after all this time. Because again, we got to see that hallway scene, and we saw it develop to them becoming like in sync again, like we were familiar with from the main show. So it's like to see it kind of slowly happen again. It was just so beautiful to watch. But I truly believe all the dialogue, everything, it was so necessary. It was all great, man. And I truly think that this is going to be I hope it's not an underrated episode compared to the others, because I think this is probably going to be in the top 3 by the time we're done.
Yeah, no, for sure. Ant.
Unbiased, I would say probably an 8.5. Biased, 9. 9.5. Yeah, I enjoyed this episode. Like I said, I'm the passion of these two characters. It's hard to write the little moments. Like even when you're with somebody that makes you when you're with somebody that makes you feel like a teenager again, like that comes off in your in how you interact with somebody. And so even that car scene when they're in the car and he realized he couldn't drive because he only has one hand and it's a stick. So and they switch seats. They're trying to get away from a fallen building and zombies, but you know, hey, she's on top of him. Let's get a quick make out session before we gotta go. and if you've experienced that kind of passion with someone where they make you feel, for lack of a better word, giddy, you know what I mean? That giddy feeling that came across. That's what I'm saying. These cast members that have been together, even the ones that have fallen off over the years, they have to be some of the closest television casts we've seen in a while. I'm trying to think of another cast that's been along together this long and know each other so well, and it just came off great. So yeah, that's my review. Giddy.
Solid A. Again, as the outsider of the crew watching this episode, it's amazing what it does to even someone from the outskirts. Be like, man, I'm so, you know, I'm in this interaction, the dialogue, everything. I'm invested with these characters. It's fascinating seeing how episode 1 and episode 4 thus far my favorite of this series or limited series, perhaps a new show, and how it's great bookends to see where Rick started off in this show and where Michonne was at mentally to see where they're at now. And yeah, that's a hard thing to do, to balance out your built out cast or built out fan base and now a newcomer like me.
Yeah, no, for sure. I completely agree with Ronin. This is my second favorite episode of the season. I think episode 1 is still my favorite, but I think this is right along my second favorite for a lot of different reasons. It was so much given as a long-term Walking Dead fan, but just from this series, there was so much meat here that I really appreciated their approach. And shout out to Denai in her writing in this episode. I mean, I think she did a really good job. I don't know how many writing credits she had, but she killed it in this one. And now that Eris is gone, you guys can talk about the scenes y'all want to talk about. So, final thoughts on that scene. Look at Ant. He ain't even got a thing. This is like, I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Look, I'm just trying to say, when she shrouded that man, I've never ever envied a one-handed man in my life.
Like Ant and Ronin, I want to see both your hands, please.
No, yo, you don't.
What the
fuck? Look, I try to audition to be Rick Grimes.
Dude,
amazing. This man Ant was like, she was rubbing. Never mind.
Stop it.
Look, Rick, get over here. You know, the MC movie. You know, he was sitting there. Andrew was looking at them MC movie like, need to get a revival, reunion show going on.
They have such good chemistry. Like,
yeah, they do.
I ain't gonna lie, man.
This wasn't in the comics. That's all I know.
Yeah, like he loved this woman for real. Like,
you know what I get? I get that Serenity. What was Zoe? Remember the first.
Tina Torres and Alan Tudyk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and now it is like there's a scene where they're being interrogated, but she's not giving any answers to the guys, and then the other guys talking to him. He's like, "Oh, everything about her. You see them legs? I love her legs. Lead up to." I figured that's that dynamic. And this man was like, "I'm done with the Walking Dead. I come back. Hey, you and Michonne get a love scene. It's going to be a little bit more space." He's like, "I'm in, mate."
Does the Rick and Morty thing? Son of a bitch, I'm in.
So yeah, and like I said, like she knew what she was doing, showing off that sexy one-piece scar on the back. Yeah, them. Look at that lucky man. He's like, I don't even know how, and they paid me lots of money.
But yeah, no, this was an A for me, man. This is the A to A plus for me. I think this is one of the most important episodes of this season. I think that regardless of how this season ends or miniseries ends as a whole, I think everybody's going to come back to this full circle. This lays a foundation to where things are going to go, either positively or tragically, no matter what. So I thought.
Do you think this can revive fans that haven't been watching The Walking Dead for years at this point? Do you think this will bring people back? Because what y'all telling me, the other spinoffs are really good, right?
I think that with Dead City, a lot of people started coming back, and me included. Like, I was done. Like, if it weren't for Aries, I would not have watched Dead City at all. And I think that the thing about this, Danae's got a lot of star power. Regardless if you previously seen her works with The Walking Dead, like, some people are like, oh, wow, she's in this. Oh, let me check this series out. Let me check this show out. So I do think that there's going to be a resurgence to pivot to see this. I think some people are going to be a little hesitant, but I think because of how good the first episode is, people are absolutely going to be talking about it that weekend. So
look at me. I can attest that I almost didn't go with this. Sam was just like, hey, did you watch Walking Dead? I'm like, no. He's like, what? And so I don't blame him. I don't blame him or Bizzy or Eric to have that reaction. I don't blame him. It's just that like a lot of stuff, like even Game of Thrones, that's a whole nother thing where like House of the Dragon came up and I was just like, I don't know. And I watched and I was just like, again, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
I hope that this is the push that maybe you'll get yourself through.
I don't know. I like, again, we mentioned another show, another franchise that I'm devoted that plays in the same ballpark. But what a testament. Like I said, first episode, bang, I'm like, whoa, yeah. I'm interested. And then I like 2, 3 was cool with context, but this one was like, I don't know if my attention would have still been with this show if it wasn't for episodes 1 and 4. Like, that's a lot riding on the limited series thus far. And I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and I've liked what I've seen of Negan and whatnot. So testament to the direction, to the writing, and to what Danaya and Andrew have done. So
yeah, and that's where I kind of stood for a little bit, because I was like, episode 1 was amazing, but at the end of the day, I don't think people who aren't diehards of this franchise, or people that didn't watch it weekly at any point, for an example, would have been able to make it past 2 and 3, because I enjoyed episode 2 and 3. But for people that are diving into this without any context, not knowing anything, it's just I feel like there's not much of a push. But I don't know. That's just for me personally. I just don't know if people are going to be enjoying it that much. I mean, you guys have other people to give you a lot of background information to make it make sense. But there's going to be somebody that dives into it, and that they're going to be like, okay, this isn't for me. Like I don't. Why is she going after this dude? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead, Ed.
No, I was gonna say the same guy that wrote Invincible wrote Walking Dead, right? The comic.
Robert
Kirkman.
Yeah. Oh, this might be his. Like, this is gonna be his year.
That's what's weird. Invincible, I'm in. I've been reading the comic book, and I'm waiting for part 2 of season 2. But I don't know why with Walking Dead it was always like, why not? But like, and the funniest thing is that for a while before I even started watching, I was like, you know what? If I saw the first season of the main show, the one thing I've always heard that was really good that I should try out because its own thing gets connected to the comics is I should try the Telltale games.
How about this, Ronin? Ronin, if in the Invincible, since they're doing some multiverse crap, if they do a Walking Dead Easter egg or show a little glimpse of that world, will you watch the show? Because technically it'd be related,
Here's the thing. I don't like watching stuff forcibly unless like I'm intrigued to watch it. Even with stuff that is regarded as great stuff, I don't want to, just because I don't feel like I want to do it as homework, and I don't want to disservice the piece of art that's presented to folks and whatnot. I'm not forcing people to try out to play or watch The Last of Us. I just hope that when you do, you discover something cool and whatnot, unique.
Right.
And again, it's a testament to what Robert Kirkman and his co-creators did with the comic.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, to me personally, if I had my wife watch this, I think that she would be all the way in. I don't, regardless of episode 2 or 3, because even when I was going through episode 3 with Ronin, like very quickly, he was like, "What the heck? This is crazy!" Like Ronin's jaw dropped the moment she grabbed this man and went out of the. Like, I mean, I think that even if you don't have a point of reference with it, it's the engagement. If it engages you and entertains you at the same time, that's anybody. Like that's what classic cinema is supposed to be. So I think that
she threw a one-handed man into the water to swim for his life. That she was pissed.
right.
I mean, I think that's why I didn't think about it, because when he went to go drive stick, I was like, I thought he couldn't drive stick because he didn't know how. But then I'm like, wait a second, he has one hand.
That man's short. He is short. And the thing about it, like, he did this to himself. He was like, what we have is broken. Any person that I was like, this is a black woman. What did you think was gonna happen? She lucky she hit him upside the head. And
when you hear like a grandma's voice or like a mom's voice, you kind of straighten up a little bit. If you had a mama, like every black man knew when he said, whatever we had is broken. And she gave him that look and didn't say nothing. He was like, man,
we're like, oh shit.
Man, you don't know. Where your black friends at, man? Where Tyrese? Tyrese will let you know what was going on, bro. Like you ain't got you ain't got nobody around you.
Bizzy, look, you say about watching the shows one day. Look, I'll say the power of The Walking Dead. I don't know if I would have discovered Sam if it wasn't for watching him be like, you can't do that, and season 7 opening whatnot. Like, I don't know, maybe another multiverse reality that might have happened, but because of Walking Dead, I figured out who he was, and then eventually we became friends. So in some way, it impacted me, but everything will happen for a reason. Everything will go at its pace, I think.
So that's how you found Sam through the things?
It was him flipping out over the season 6 finale, just like everybody else.
Wow.
But he was trending. In my pages, he was trending because it was, you can't do this with the green
So there's
screen.
a universe where you're working for Grace Randolph?
No. Anyways, Grace Randolph. But it was also...
You work for Grace Randolph?
Okay, where can everybody plug their information? Bizzy, where can everybody find your content?
You can find me at Bizzy Braun. Everywhere Bizzy Braun. You can find me at Bizzy Reactions on Instagram. We're huge Walking Dead fans over here, so you can catch me, like watching The Walking Dead on my channel. We got a lot of older episodes. We got all the spin-offs. Yo, shut up! I'm trying to do this.
I cannot tell you're a fan. Oh wait, what's that in the background?
Anyways, you guys can catch me at Bizzy Broad, man. Crap ton of reactions over there, and I am looking forward to uploading the reactions for the ones who live, featuring some of these boys over here. So it should be interesting.
And he is sponsored by Fuel. I'm joking. I don't think he is.
Yeah.
I don't know if he is or not.
Yeah, why would I have it here?
Yeah,
Ronin.
I am that desperate for a sponsorship, man.
Oh Lord.
Ronin, where can everybody find your content?
You can find me at Ronin and Chain watching The Last of Us. If anybody gives a shit about that, looking for the light.
I do.
I do too.
I haven't played this game, but I hear it's going to tick me off.
Bottles and bricks.
And it's a delight watching this show with my friends and seeing how different energies are going back and forth with people who are hardcore fans and newcomers like me. And go to the channel, watch some Star Wars stuff, Invincible stuff coming soon, Last of Us stuff, and let's get the channel to 101K.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, and you can find him here.
Always. I never leave this chair. I'm just here. Always here.
We literally have matching headsets. So he's in it for life. He ain't never leaving. It's the CRM right here.
TeamJVS is technically the CRM. He can't leave. He has no choice.
No choice. See, his arm's gone. See that? We're out. Like, subscribe, hit the bell button. Peace.
Everything.